Welcome to Health Hacktivators with lifestyle medicine doctor, GP and longevity expert Dr. Alka Patel. This show will help you to discover a hidden health hacking code that unlocks your phenomenal potential for an outstanding health span, lifespan and wealth span. The show features candid conversations with celebrities, influencers and industry icons, real-life stories and cutting-edge health activating advice that other doctors might not tell you. Discover why now is the time to join the strategic self-care revolution and experience the profound effects this will have on your personal and professional success. Now, here is your host, Dr. Alka Patel.
Before we get into today's show, please do support today's show partner, Youth and Earth. Youth and Earth have a range of products that I love to use myself to supercharge my metabolism, to support my health, and to slow down cellular aging. Just be sure you click the link in the show notes for exclusive offers which Youth and Earth are so generously giving for listeners of this show. Hi, hey, and hello, Health Hacktivators. Have you ever wondered why losing weight doesn't feel easy? Today, I want to take you through 5 hidden obstacles to weight loss that I commonly see. So let's get straight into this. Number 1 is inflammation, what I like to call the silent saboteur. So inflammation, you've heard me talk a lot about it on this show. It's a process which is absolutely central to our body's defense mechanism. It's your body's response to injury, infection, or irritants. And it involves the release of immune cells and things like cytokines to rectify any potential damage. So how does this fit into the context of weight loss? Well, here, chronic low-grade inflammation, it is the silent saboteur because it's been found to disrupt your body's equilibrium. More specifically, what I'm talking about is affecting your metabolic processes, affecting your hormone regulation, particularly hormones related to appetite. So these are hormones like ghrelin and leptin, and also those that relate to energy expenditure, so things like insulin and glucagon. So what do you do? What do you do to counteract the effects of inflammation on weight loss? Well, what is important is really to adapt to a very multifaceted approach. So incorporating anti-inflammatory foods rich in antioxidants, so things like leafy greens and berries, for example, these are important. These are nutrient-dense options which work for you to neutralize the harmful free radicals that are bouncing about in your cells and in your tissues, and then reduce that overall inflammatory load within your body. And then there's also exercise. Exercise, so integrating regular exercise mitigates inflammation. And also we know that things like yoga and mindfulness, they also dampen the inflammatory cascade, which ultimately then supports your weight loss journey. So that's inflammation. Number 2, mitochondrial dysfunction. So this is your powerhouses under pressure. So at the center of energy production lies your mitochondria. These are microscopic cell organelles which are essential for converting your nutrients from food into usable energy. But when these cellular engines falter, what happens is that it impedes your body's ability to efficiently harness energy, which then in turn is a significant hurdle in weight loss. And that is primarily why I test mitochondrial function with my clients whose goal is weight loss. So one of my clients, Catherine, she was trying to eat well and exercise regularly, but she carried on feeling fatigued. She noticed a lack of progress in her weight loss goals. So when we tested her metabolic markers, what we found was that she was struggling to convert her fats through this process of beta oxidation in her cells. And what became apparent was that her struggle was very much rooted in mitochondrial dysfunction. So what did we do to address this? Well, we took a very targeted approach, incorporating nutrient-dense foods that very specifically supported her mitochondrial function. So specific foods like nuts and seeds and lean proteins. And these foods are rich in coenzyme Q10. So coenzyme Q10 is an essential cofactor in your energy cycle. And it's not talked about enough, I don't think. I don't think we're talking enough about CoQ10 because in all the testing I do, it's probably one of the most ubiquitous deficiencies that I see. So what we also did then with Catherine on the back of this was also modify her exercise routine to include interval training exercises. So this is about alternating periods of high intensity activity with periods of more low intensity activity. And the reason that we did this is because by engaging in interval training, what you're doing is stimulating your mitochondria, which was important based on Catherine's tests. And by stimulating your mitochondria, you're encouraging them to adapt and function way more efficiently and way more effectively as well. So Catherine, what she found was that then her energy levels did increase, which then allowed her to engage in more exercise. And as your mitochondrial function improves, so then does your body's capacity to utilize nutrients for energy production. So for Catherine, for example, addressing mitochondrial dysfunction is what proved to be absolutely pivotal. It was a pivotal turning point in her weight loss journey, which she wouldn't really have been able to target without that level of cellular testing. Okay, third obstacle that I see, this is food sensitivities. Now, food sensitivities are not often thought of as something that affects weight loss endeavors directly, but they can play quite a significant role. So what is a food sensitivity? Well, it means your body is having an adverse reaction to certain foods. It's different from an allergic response. So if you take gluten, for example, one common food sensitivity is gluten intolerance. Gluten is a protein. It's found in wheat and barley and rye. And if you have gluten sensitivity and then you consume foods that contain this protein, then that triggers a range of symptoms, which might include things like digestive discomfort or bloating, wind, headaches, even joint pain. And all of these symptoms then impact on your weight loss efforts. So worth thinking about food sensitivities. Okay, factor 4. You probably guessed this one. It is hormones. Hormones, those chemical messages that orchestrate this myriad of functions, includes things like metabolism and weight regulation. So when these very delicate, intricate hormonal pathways become disrupted, yes, it leads to weight loss resistance. Now, one critical aspect of hormonal function does pertain to the menopause and the andropause. So through the menopause, it's the decrease in estrogen levels that can lead to an increase in body fat, particularly around the waist and the abdomen. And then there's also a decline in muscle mass that often accompanies the menopause as well. So that further contributes to sluggish metabolism and weight gain. Now, I've done a whole previous episode on menopause and weight specifically. So if you haven't already listened to that, just go back to episode 16 because I've shared a lot of menopause specific hacks on there. So I won't repeat them on here today. But looking then at men, there is also this comparable phase known as the andropause or the male menopause. And that does occur. It occurs much more gradually. And this is where testosterone levels start to decline, which then results in decreased muscle mass, increased body fat, and a decrease in overall energy expenditure. And these hormonal shifts then also make it much more challenging for men to maintain a healthy weight as well. There's other hormones as well. Another key player in your endocrine system, which influences metabolism, is your thyroid gland. So this is a butterfly-shaped gland. It's located in your neck, and it secretes hormones, predominantly thyroxine, which is called T4, and also triiodothyronine, which is called T3. And both together regulate your metabolism. Again, what do? They influence cellular energy production. So when your thyroid is underactive and you're not producing enough hormone, this is hypothyroidism, it results in a reduction in your metabolic rate, which makes it harder to lose weight. And then conversely, hyperthyroidism, that's an overactive thyroid, can result in an elevated metabolic rate, and that's often accompanied by unintended weight loss. So I have found hormonal testing absolutely invaluable for supporting clients through weight loss, because this gives you a very individualized approach that recognizes the very crucial role that your endocrine system does play in your metabolism. So finally, where are we at? The fifth obstacle to weight loss that I see is psychological factors. Weight loss is multifaceted. It's not just about physical adjustments. It's also about significant psychological elements. It's about delving into the very intricate relationship between your mind and your body, which then, of course, ultimately influences your behaviors and your habits. Now, one crucial player in the realm of psychological factors is your amygdala. Your amygdala, it's a small almond-shaped structure. It's very deep within your brain, and it's the place where your emotions are processed. So these are emotions specifically related to stress and fear. So thinking about the context of weight loss then, the amygdala plays a very pivotal role in emotional eating. So when we experience intense emotions, the amygdala can trigger cravings for comforting foods. And it turns out that these comforting foods, what are they? Well, they're usually very calorie-dense foods. And this whole phenomenon occurs because of your brain's attempt to seek pleasure and to reduce pain through that release of dopamine. So emotional eating, yes, it does offer temporary solace, but it then becomes a very significant roadblock on your path to more sustainable weight loss. So how do you address this? Well, one way to address this pattern is through mindfulness. It's a practice that encourages being present in the moment and cultivating this awareness of your emotions and behaviors. So these are techniques that I've taught many of my clients. I share them in my course, really around incorporating mindful eating practices to help you develop a much deeper understanding of your emotional triggers and cultivate a more healthy, focused response. And stress, we haven't talked about stress yet, but when it's untamed or relentless, stress, of course, is also a significant factor in weight loss, because this persistent release of cortisol then takes place. So cortisol is your hormone that over time leads to increased fat storage, and particularly again around the abdomen. So stress-induced weight gain does occur, and it's of course counterproductive to your weight loss efforts. So how do you mitigate this? Well, again, thinking about stress modulating activities and building those into your routines is important. So this is things like intermittent fasting or breath work or spending time in nature. They really can have a significant effect. And then there's the role of sleep in weight management, which I cannot overstate. Sleep is one of my favorite topics, and sleep deprivation is what disrupts the very delicate balance between those hunger regulating hormones, which I already mentioned, which then leads to increased appetite and cravings again for high calorie, sugary foods. And more than that, insufficient sleep also impairs your cognitive function, your thinking function, your decision making, your impulse control. And all of these, of course, are absolutely crucial for making healthy food choices. So most people don't really correlate the bad night's sleep they had with the food choices they're making the next day, but it's there, and it's a very, very strong effect, which is why prioritizing sleep and quality sleep as part of your weight loss strategy, I believe, is a priority. So look, putting this all together, as we've looked at these various obstacles that can hinder weight loss, really what's abundantly clear is that a holistic approach is what's needed. Of course, you know this, there's no one size fits all solution. What's needed instead is a personalised and multifaceted test-based, data-driven strategy that takes into account that very unique interplay of all these factors that I've mentioned: metabolic factors, inflammation, hormones, nutritional needs, and emotional well-being. All of these contribute on your journey towards weight wellness, and it is very unique to you. So instead of a trial and terror approach, why not take a test and track approach? I'm always happy to help you do this. So do, of course, reach out if you would like a complimentary conversation. We can discuss your weight goals. And what's the best way to do that? Easiest if you get in touch with me through my website, dralkapatel.com. Now, of course, as always, I wish you a health activating day.